watching HeartSupport. When I was 13, I didn't have that many friends because I was homeschooled, so I wasn't like, my environment just wasn't filled with humanity. I think just like being alone a lot, I expected that when I turned 13 that my life was going to be a lot different than it was. We switched churches. I remember like, it's the only time I've ever faked sick ever. I just like didn't want to go. I just had a lot of social anxiety about going into those places and making new friends because I had been in the same place for so long that I was like, oh, I'm comfortable here. I just felt like I needed to have more of these expectations that I had created for myself. I think our society likes to force these ideas like, oh, you're supposed to have a boyfriend, which is ridiculous for a 13-year-old. You don't need a boyfriend when you're 13, but whatever. That's just my opinion. Or you're supposed to have like a group of friends that are like super tight. I decided that because I didn't have these things, like there must be something wrong with me. So I decided that the only thing I could control was like how much I weighed. It was just started as a thought and then it just kept growing and growing. I lost 20 pounds in like a couple months. I weighed 100 pounds and I'm 5'6", and that's ridiculous. Nothing was ever good enough because even when I was trying to do all these things that were supposed to fix my problem, it wasn't filling the void in my heart. It wasn't like making me friends. It wasn't making me more outgoing or be better at social situations. It was just basically making me depressed because my blood sugar was so low all the time that I couldn't function. It made me like fight with my mom. Like if I wasn't eating at specific times, I would get really angry and my mom would be like, what's wrong with you? And I'm just like, nothing, you know? Yeah, it was just very torturous for her, which it wasn't fair to her at all. But when you're 14 years old, you don't get that, you know? When we're that young, we can't necessarily like filter out all the lies that we're told. Like, yeah, like if you want these things, like do this, or, you know, magazines and movies and all this stuff. It's like the pretty people get what they want. And that's just not how real life is. You have this like dysmorphic image of yourself. Like you think that you are something that you are not, and you're never going to get to the goal because that's essentially what it is. It's like anorexia makes you feel like you're never going to be thin enough. And that's why you keep going. It like progressed from being I was anorexic to being bulimic as well. So I still had this struggle. It was there, like this ache in my head, like you're still not good enough. You still need to be doing these things. When I was 14 years old, that's when I started playing music. And there was a guy in my church who was like my big brother. His name was Kyle. He was the bassist. And he asked me, he was just like, hey, you know, you really like MXPX, and we're like, hey, and all this stuff, and I'll show you how to play some on the bass. And I was like, okay, sick. And he asked me, like, do you want to get a bass? And I was like, oh yeah, like I'd be great. Like, how much do basses usually cost? And he's like, well, this one's $2,000, but there's like other ones out there, and for a 14-year-old, that's absurd. I was like, I can't even have a job. I went home that night and I prayed. I was like, Jesus, like, if you want me to play music, like give me the instrument you want me to play. And 2 weeks later, my dad came home with a bass that I play in the back of his truck, and I was like, okay, so this is there's something here. Because I didn't tell my father. I wasn't just like, hey, it was like some guy just traded it to him. It's pretty, like, the blessing came down. It was awesome. So through music, I kind of like got to be a part of something that was bigger than myself. In those moments where I felt like I didn't have a purpose because the things that I thought were supposed to happen in my life weren't happening, I just had to go back to the fact that like this thing came to me, like I'm supposed to do this. And it gave me another passion to like pursue besides myself. I was like being able to be expressive. When I was 15, I started playing acoustic guitar, and then I ended up being the worship leader at church. I think this is a beautiful thing that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to God and like that kind of stuff, but you don't have to fix yourself before you can have a relationship with God. You don't have to fix all these things that are wrong with you before you can have a relationship that means something and is like a conduit. I remember there was a day where I was just in the bathroom and I had just like thrown up everything I eaten that day, and I remember a very interruptive thought going like, you're beautiful, why don't you stop? At that moment I was just like, I have to figure out how to get better. And I think the only way to do that is to keep pursuing the things that I was created for. It's like music is the only thing that's keeping me from falling off the edge. because you can't be like making yourself throw up all the time if you want your vocal cords to function. You can't be incapable of like standing up for periods of time because you didn't eat. So when I was 17, I went to my first show, and this band called the Spill Canvas was playing, and they have a song about this girl standing on the edge of a cliff, and this guy's trying to convince her not to jump. I remember looking around me and seeing all these people just like dumping their hearts out on the floor, like singing these words with everything they were, and I was just very impressed that I could see people like worshiping something that was very sad. I just remember thinking, like, God, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to be here. I want to show people. I want to play music that fills things, not empties them. Because I had been empty for so long that I just wanted to be in that space. I think that's the beautiful part about struggle, is that you be this example of how redemption can happen and like change can happen, and how you can still accomplish your dreams. You can like heal from those things, and it can only make you better.